Hey guys, it's Tana. Welcome back to my channel. And we're here on another Wednesday with a video for Craft Galley, where happiness is homemade. So I was just playing around for this video. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. And the only thing I really need stamp die wise was that Concord and Ninth Wintry Edges die set. I had one plan in mind, just that I wanted to do shimmer powders around snowflakes, images of snowflakes. And I didn't have a snowflake stencil, so we couldn't do it the reverse way. So I used a piece of poster board because it's shiny on the front side, which I thought would make it a little bit more water resistant. And put those pieces, after I cut them out, I put two-way zig glue pen on them and let it dry first, because then it's repositionable. And put that on top of a piece of Tim Holtz Distress watercolor cardstock. And as you can see, I put my shimmer powder on. Now the three colors I used were Blue Blitz, Lunar Rocket, and Storm Cloud. It'll be listed below. I thought it turned out really cool. And then I decided, I got it out. I grabbed another piece of the Distress cardstock and I did a regular panel with nothing on it. And I like the way this one turned out as well. Now I still, aside from knowing I wanted white snowflakes on a shimmer powdered background, had no real idea what I was going to do with these. It's ironic too, because the one that I really had a plan for, I almost didn't use in the end. I did have a little bit of a hard time getting these off. I don't know if it was because of the glue, because of the watercolor paper, because I soaked it with water. It could be a combination of everything. They did come off. It took a little time. Honestly, this panel right here, I should have left it alone. I did not, as you will see. And that panel off to the side, this one I'm cutting down, I didn't even intend on using that. I had just taken a piece of a 60-pound Nina and just to stick the snowflakes on as I took them off. And I ended up using it. It's one of my favorite cards. I did have to put a piece of black cardstock on the back to make it a little bit thicker when I decided to use it. So moving along, we have the solid cardstock with the shimmer powder all over it and the birch tree mini stencil by Tim Holtz. And I just went over this with Frostbite Nouveau Glacier paste. And I had to do it, let it dry, and then do it again because it's a small stencil. So that's off to the side. And here I am trying to use the Frostbite to kind of cover the snowflakes on that first panel. Like I said, should have left it alone. You couldn't really see it, but look at this. Isn't this cool? I wiped my finger off after rubbing the glacier paste on, and that was like a formed flake of mica flakes or glitter or whatever's in that paste, and it was on my cloth. It looked really cool. So for this panel that I didn't even intend on using, I decided to play around. So I took some Indigo Eclipse Dream Drops and a little bit of water, and I spread that all through my panel over and over again. I purposely let it smear some of the shimmer powder color on top of the snowflakes into the background, and it looks really cool, you guys. The camera doesn't even do it justice. You can see it a little bit at the end when I hold it up again, but you can't see the shimmer on there from the Dream Drops. And then I took some toner paper and my laminator, and I took some silver, some blue, and some pearl foil and covered 3 different pieces of cardstock, or the foil paper, the thermal paper, and then I put it on cardstock. There's my second layer of the birch trees. That glacier paste goes on like butter. It's so thin, it's so easy. And now I'm showing you that I have 3 of the word believe. Now each word, each letter that we use on these cards today has 3 layers of cardstock and then the foil on the top. So I'm just going to show you, I put the foil on after I glued the 3 layers together. And I did that for each sentiment for each card. I'm showing you the Believe die came from Love Nicole at AC Moore. And that You Are a Rare Find, that actually came in another Concord and Ninth die set, which I will link below. And I covered that with blue foil. I love the way that one looks. And actually the pearl foil paper came out pretty cool too, because it's darker because of the thermal paper underneath. So it had a really distinct color to it, and that's the one I used for the phrase "Let It Snow." There was a lot of die cutting when it came to the sentiments. Here I'm just showing you, I'm using the long fawn stitch rectangle dies to cut out frames. Now we're going to make a shaker, and I didn't decide that until the last minute. But instead of using foam tape to pop it up, we're going to use layers of frame and build it up with cardstock. Now this is a piece of vellum, and I'm just showing you that I'm making my own insides for the shaker card using the vellum, Copic markers, and that same wintry edge Concord and 9th die. And we're just going to keep cutting it out along each color. So back to the sentiments. I did not put any of that in here. It was just a lot of cutting. 3 layers for each letter, 3 layers for each word, plus the foil top. I glued each of my frames two together. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I glued 2 sets of 2 together, and then I put the acetate on. Now when it came to the acetate, I used double-sided score tape because I figured that would hold the tape better than glue. And I just recently heard also somebody say that glue eventually cracks on your acetate, or makes your acetate crack later on, depending on how old the card is. I don't know if it's true or not. I guess that's a theory we'll have to test. So I continue after putting the acetate on, gluing all the other half of the frames together, and then gluing the back half to the front half. Meaning I inset the acetate in behind 2 panels, and then the rest of them will be behind the acetate. And then I put a silver glitter cardstock front onto the frame. Now, I don't know if I finished talking about the letters. I'm so sorry. I got interrupted, so you might find a difference in quality of voiceover between the first half and the second half of this video. It was quieter in the house when I started. I got interrupted. I shut it off, and now I'm outside in the car because it's quieter out here. This is the birch tree background, and it's going onto a black card base, just with some double-sided tape. And now we're going to start putting our shaker together. So the words, believe, I lined them up on the grid lines on my mat and just kept the shaker front there until I had them all glued in place. I did set that aside to dry. The Lawn Fawn glue tube took a little bit of time to dry on the acetate piece. I think that it looks fabulous with the silver sentiments. Out of the 3 cards I made today, this video, this was everybody's favorite from the votes I took from the kids and whatnot. So I set that aside to dry, and now we're working on the phrase you're a rare find. It's early, guys. I made cards. I was inspired with the snowflakes because it's so cold here now. I mean, it's warm today, but when I started it was cold. But it's not Christmas time necessarily yet. You know, I'm still making Halloween cards. So I wanted to make one that didn't have to be used for Christmas. Also, you saw me toss that first panel aside. I kept picking it up and not knowing what to do with it and throwing it back. It wasn't until right here that I decided what to do with it. So I covered up that panel with a piece of vellum. I cut it out with a wonky stitch rectangle die. And then I cut a frame out of 2 wonky rectangle stitch dies out of like a light turquoise cardstock, glitter cardstock, and that's going to go over the vellum and the panel. So, and we'll save that centerpiece for some other project. So I just put some score tape, double-sided tape on the back of the turquoise frame, and then I stuck the vellum to it, and then eventually the whole thing will go on to that back panel, so that the panel itself is kind of like a background meld, if you will, so you don't see everything. Because I even tried putting glossy accents on those snowflakes on that panel. I should have just left it alone, guys. Sometimes it's better to leave it alone. So now here are all my little vellum cutout snowflakes. I did cut a couple out of the extra silver cardstock so that it would tie the frame of the shaker card into the card itself. And now I'm just using some cloud circle confetti from Nuvo, I think that's what it's called, and a couple clear seed beads so that something shakes in there. I should have put more seed beads. The vellum snowflakes, they do move around, but they're so light that there's nothing to push them around. It's still a really beautiful card, but it doesn't shake. And now we're going to use some Sea Glass Jewels by Pretty Pink Posh. And you can use anything you have, whatever matches your card. These just happen to be the best matching ones I had. And that card's done. I love the way that card turned out. And that one's on a steel gray card base. Here's that frame, the vellum frame, going right over that back panel. I'm going to pop that entire thing up on foam tape. And then we're going to use some of those leftover snowflakes to decorate the front. So while I'm forwarding you guys through that with some time-lapse footage, I want to tell you that there is a very important lesson I learned here. When you're crafting, your plans are not always going to turn out, which we all know, but we forget about often. And also, on the other hand, you may not get what you planned on, but you may end up with some better things. And these other two cards, the You're a Rare Find and the Shaker card, although weren't at all what I intended when I started this video. I like all three cards, but those two are my favorite. So it didn't turn out the way I planned, but all is said and done, and I just had to show you all three cards and make it work into a, not too long video, because I wanted you guys to see the process and tell you what was going on in my mind. So this is complete. That vellum was kind of tricky to hold down while it was being glued. I put some jewels in the center of the snowflakes, and then I used some dream drops as snow to decorate the bottom half. Here's some pictures of the cards. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I also want to say the winner of the Craft Galley giveaway coupon code is Andre M. I will put the details below. You have 48 hours to claim your prize. If not, I will have to pick another winner. And I really don't like picking another winner. So hopefully you claim your prize in 48 hours. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And here are a couple more videos that you might like to see. So until next time, guys. Bye-bye for now.